Hey guys, we're going to go ahead and get things started here in just a minute.
Yo, 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 what's up, you guys?
Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy New Year's Eve.
Aloha from Maui.
How are you guys?
Amazing. How are you guys? How's LA right now?
It is cold and rainy.
Yeah, it's cold and rainy. It's been tough, man. Wearing our jackets today for sure. So
Yes. Indeed.
Awesome. Well, I think we're just gonna let people get checked in here.
And gloves.
Yep, we'll give it a couple minutes here, let everybody get checked in, and then we'll start diving into some goals here.
Sounds great. Thank you everyone for joining today. Definitely setting things up for 2021. It's going to be really great. We have this amazing planet where we're going to be happy to share with you all as well.
Guys, we survived 2020. We are alive. Let's go, man. If we survive this year, I mean, sky is the limit in 2021.
Yes. Goodbye, 2020. Hello, 2021.
All right. So
guys, when you do get in, feel free to use the chat feature and go ahead and go into the chat, and you can go ahead and put in there where you're from, what your name is, and if you have an Instagram handle or some place that's best for people to connect with you, go ahead and put that in there as well. We'd love to know who's in the room and where you're tuning in from. Again, we'll get started here in just about a minute or two, just letting everybody trickle in, and then we'll go get everything going on goals.
Sorry. Yes.
we got Arbor, Michigan in the house.
Hello, got some Hawaii people. Amazing.
Some Portland, Oregon. Oh, what's up, my man Warren over in Oahu? Hi, Tay. Good to see you.
What's going on? Yeah, how's the weather, Alex? Is it what, 80s? Looks sunny and beautiful. You've got like the sun glow. You know when you go canning and you're in the sun, you have that like glow.
Jay, you're going to be in Hawaii sometime in the first quarter. We'll be talking about that, okay?
I cannot wait.
If we hit our goals, believe me, you'll be getting that Maui tan sometime soon, okay? But it's 80 degrees right now. Perfect weather. As soon as I'm done with the webinar, I'm probably going to go take a run on the beach or go take a swim. We'll see.
That's what life is all about. I love it. Amazing.
So guys, we're going to go ahead and get started here in just a minute. We're really excited. This is the goals webinar. So we're going to be diving into goals, and Alex is going to be talking a little bit about his goals and how he's getting 2021 ready to go. We have a special guest today, so that'll be really fun. We'll kind of dive in. Alex and the guest will kind of go in and talk about the goals that have really gotten our guests to where they are at this point, which is pretty incredible. Again, we'll kind of dive into the goals, the habits that we're getting set for, and the planner that we're planning on using. And again, we're really excited to have everybody out today. So without further ado, Jay, I think, is going to go ahead and post in the chat for everybody. When we're talking today, we're going to be talking about a planner called the Raise Plus Planner. It's from one of our coaches, Ryan Pineda, and Alex will tell you guys a little bit more about that right now as we dive in.
Yes, just like Will said, we actually got it from Ryan Pineda. Definitely check out this link. It is basically a planner that is accessible. You can download it to your Google Drive and access it at all times. It goes over these 5 main principles. RAISE, which are basically like acronyms. R standing for relationships. So that's something you focus on, relationships. A as in assets. I as in intellect for raise. S as in spirit. And then E as an exercise. And there's a plus for material items like career followers. We'll definitely go into detail more as this goes further in our webinar. As mentioned, it is in the group chat, so definitely click on it and check it out. If you have any questions, obviously reach out to us. And then also there's a YouTube tutorial which goes into further detail on how to use it. All right, so moving from on that, we're gonna go and dive right in. So our 5 RAISE daily habits. First, Alex will get going.
All right, guys. Well, I just want to again say the same thing as thank you for your time. Time is our most valuable resource. So you guys are taking the time at the end of the year to reflect, to plan out your year 2021. A couple things I wanted to touch on. Number one, I think this is a time for reflection, for deep thought about number one, what you accomplished this year. Number two, what you learned this year, those learning lessons that you want to carry into 2021. And also what has worked for you in 2021, because so many times we don't pay attention to that, and then we're not able to double down on that. If it's already working, if it's worked in the past, it's got momentum, you got to be able to continue with that. Okay, you guys? So let's jump right in. We're going to talk about our 5 Raise Plus daily habits. And number one, my number one daily habit that I'm going to be working on is using a schedule or a planner. It ties into what we were just talking about. You got to be able to schedule in all those tough activities, all those things that are going to help you get to your goals. So that's kind of the what. I'm going to be using that planner, but why am I doing it? Because I found when I'm on a schedule, when I'm on some type of plan, that I'm going to accomplish more. I mean, this year I fell off a little bit at the end of the year because I was doing some traveling, but the whole middle part of the year, from when COVID hit all the way until the later part of the year, I was on a schedule, and it worked magically. I got a lot more done than I usually do. So I'm a big fan of that. My number two, number two thing I want to focus on a lot on is continuing to do my morning and evening rituals, routines. I know we've talked about this in the past, but those things set you up, but you need to think about them. Especially when you're moving and traveling and things like that. It's harder to stay on your morning and evening routines. And so that's a big one for me this year, of maintaining those habits. And then I think, Jay, we were gonna, the third.
Alex, while you are jumping in there, I do want to just have Jay repost in here for all of our late guests that are just kind of trickling in right now. We are going to repost the link for the Raise calendar, just so you guys have that and you're able to kind of follow along here. All right.
Yes. Yeah, amazing things, Alex. And it's definitely important to have a schedule. I use it daily, and Alex is in Hawaii. I'm in LA, Will is in LA. So for us to stay accountable and be on the same page, it's nice to have a planner, stay accountable, and obviously have a schedule to stick to. So we all know what's going on. So great things.
Great point. And then my third habit is that I'm working on my top 5 is just eating a more balanced, healthy diet. I think since I moved here to Hawaii, I've been eating out more. I have been, because of the cost of food here, it's very similar to eat out and to actually cook for yourself. Now you still save a little bit of money, eating in, but I've just kind of fallen off that a little bit, to be honest. And so I'm going to work this first quarter to really get that in check, because I like eating healthy, but I've just kind of been just doing whatever is available, DoorDash,
holidays,
going out. So yeah, I have to work a lot of that, because you need that energy to operate at a high level. And then whenever I eat crappy food, I'm not operating at my best. So I'm going to work on that. That's my third habit that I want to work on. And then fourth is maintain a work-life balance. For myself, I tend to have an extreme personality. I want to work too much. I want to be all in. I want to be working all the time, or I want to be really lazy and not work at all. And so I just need to find a little bit more of a balance, because I tend to do that. I just get too far on one side of the spectrum, and everybody's personality is different. Mine just happens to be that way. So just understanding your personality and what works for you is very important. And so for me, I understand that I need to have a little bit more balance. And that actually, if you think about it, it ties in well with the planner. Because if I don't plan, like, for example, my fun activities that I want to do for the week, I kind of get disgruntled. I'm like, oh man, all I'm doing is working. I'm not enjoying my life here in Hawaii. Or even when I was in LA, like, I like to go hiking. And when I would not plan that stuff, every 2 or 3 days when I'm working too much, I would just get kind of discouraged or unmotivated, or just not happy, because I'm not doing things for me. I was just doing things for work and for other people, but I wasn't doing enough for me. So that's a very important habit for me. And then number 5 habit is I need to post valuable content on social media on a regular basis, on a day-to-day basis, because that's part of the reason we're all here through social media. And so it's working this year, and I want to make sure that we continue that next year, because I'm doubling down on that and expanding my reach and my influence, because it's helped my business out and my life based on the relationships I've been able to attract through social media. So those are my top 5, habits that I'm looking to develop this year.
Those are great, Alex. I mean, when you think about posting valuable content, like you mentioned, I think that's why a lot of people are here today, wanted to come and hear some valuable content from you. And so, I think people are definitely appreciative when you do post some of the videos and some of the content that you do post. Again, guys, I do want you to notice one thing that Alex mentioned about his goals and his habits. He kind of uses this what, how, and why methodology. So he wants to know, like, when he's doing a habit, what is he doing? Why is he doing it? And how is that beneficial for him? And again, Jay is going to post in here. There's a couple other late stragglers coming in. Jay will repost that link in there just so you guys can get that. Alex, let's go ahead and dive into some of your goals. I know we went over the raise habits, but we have a separate set of raise goals that you're also working towards. And if you don't mind diving into some of your raise goals for us as well, man.
Not at all, guys. I think it's extremely important at this time of the year that you guys sit down and write down very specific goals. My goal for the first quarter, number 1 goal is I want to, because my yearly goal is I want to make $500,000. My quarterly goal is $125,000 in personal income. So that's my top goal for the quarter, $125,000 personal income. Number 2 goal for the quarter is I want to take my team on a trip to Hawaii at the end of the quarter. If we hit our goals, I want Jay and Will to come out to Hawaii, come surf with me, come hang out with some of my rock star friends out here. So that's
hey, you don't have to break my wrist. We'll definitely be out there.
Yes, exactly.
I want you guys to feel the Aloha spirit, the Aloha way, like I have. This island has really just opened its arms up to me, so I'm really grateful for that.
And obviously, I think if we're hitting that goal, which means Jay and I are hopping on a plane and getting out to Hawaii, that means you're probably hitting some of those other goals. So I know your first goal of 125,000 in income. If you're tracking towards that, that probably means that we're doing our job out here to make that second kind of goal become a reality. So I'm always happy to hear that we're a part of your plans as well. I'm sure from Jay and I, right?
Yes.
Thank you. And to rewind real quick, I have 2 deals, 2 flips that are going to likely finish in the first quarter. I'm not counting those. I mean, obviously those are more for 2020 because we did acquire them in 2020, but I'm not even counting those. It's new deals that we're focusing on. So make sure that you guys are also doing that, where you're not, like letting things that you've already worked on in this year count for next year. You want new income, new goals, new things that you're working on.
No shortcuts in the road of life, right?
Yeah. And okay, so number 3 goal for the quarter is I want to mentor 5 people. So for the year it's 20, but I want to mentor 5 people in the first quarter. So it's about 2 a month. I get a lot of satisfaction from helping people start in this real estate investing business, and it just it gives me some fulfillment that, I mean, like for example, I'm on this webinar and I'm present and I'm happy to spend my time and share value to you guys. I just closed on a Compton deal, made $40,000 profit, and I don't even care about that. Even though it's important because we need income, we need money to make our lives move forward and to transform our lives. But it's not all about the money for me, because I wouldn't have moved to Hawaii. I moved to Hawaii because I want to be closer to some mentors and lifestyle for me. So just make sure that you're doing stuff. Some of your goals are not all about money as well. They're about giving back or just contribution or something that's going to fulfill you more than just making money.
And I think you guys can see that in the raised goals that Jay has posted in the chat. Some of those different topics: spirit, intellect, exercise, assets, relationships. It doesn't all have to be asset related goals. But relationships, like Alex has mentioned, is obviously a very key part of how he's gotten to where he is. And he's always mentioned that he does want to give back. And that's why we're all here today.
Yeah, 100%. My fourth goal is spiritual. It's meditate. It's more of like I want to meditate 20 minutes per day. Typically, I meditate in the morning as part of my morning routine. Helps get me grounded. Helps just get me present. So my mind is not all racing all over the place, and just allows me to focus better. So typically, I do about 10 minutes to 15 minutes, and then either 5 to 10 minutes in the evening. So really want to stay on top of that. This year, it's big for me. Just because whenever you start working on more things, you're trying to accomplish more goals. You got more moving parts. Your life is getting a little bit more complicated. So there's just more moving parts, and it's harder to stay present in the moment because you got so many things on your mind that are going on. And so that's why meditation is really important to me for this quarter and this year. And then number 5 goal is I want to exercise or swim in the ocean at least twice a week. So I have found one of the reasons I really like Hawaii is because you can swim in the ocean. The water's warm. The weather's always good. And so I found that once I'm out here, I like swimming because I learned to swim pretty early on. And it was something random, but when I came here on vacation, I just really enjoyed swimming out there in the ocean. And so now I've set that as a goal because every time I go out there and do it, I never regret it. It just gives me a lot of satisfaction and rejuvenation. So I want to swim at least 2 times in the ocean every single week. Granted, I have to be here in Hawaii for that because I'm not going to swim in LA. Will, I think, did you like that goal, right?
So, the cool thing about having goals and having habits is, we share our goals and our habits as a team. So we actually put some time on calendar so that we're able to go through and make sure, hey, how am I able to help Jay align with her goals and help, her track towards making sure that those become a reality. And, vice versa, Alex's goal of flipping 24 deals, well, that has a lot to do with us out here in LA. So you're going to see some very similar goals on our charts because, for him to flip 24 deals, we're going to need to do that out here in LA as well. So really a fun exercise to kind of do. It gets to know your teammates a little bit better. And having done that, I saw on Alex's goes swimming in the ocean. And I grew up in San Diego. I've lived in Southern California all my life. So I'm used to the cold water and it is chilly, but I added that to my goals list as well. I want to make sure that I get down to the beach and I go swimming at least twice a year this year as well. So that when I do get out to Hawaii, that water is even nicer and even warmer. Exactly. So guys, again, I think that was awesome. Alex kind of diving into the goals, the habits. You guys can check my Instagram as well. I'll post my Instagram here. I have my 5 habits on there as well. And Jay and Alex will definitely be posting theirs over the next couple of days as well, so that you guys have those and you're able to see what our goals are and our habits are. The other thing I wanted to notice on there is, Alex, you mentioned 5 people mentored in this quarter. And I think that was really cool how you kind of broke it down into having different goals and different timelines. And I know we'll dive into those a little bit later on here in the questions. Before we do, though, we're going to bring on our special guest. So Alex is going to go ahead and introduce our guest here in a minute.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to have this special guest. It's a couple that I've had a lot of interaction with online, social media. I finally got to meet them in person last week. They're an amazing couple. They're both born and raised in Hawaii. They have a couple of small kids. There's no excuses with them. They're out there executing. One of them still has another full-time business. So these are our special guests, Tristyn Kamohai. I mean, again, they're been in the business now about 1.5 years, but really dove full in about 1 year ago. They've completed 3 fix and flips. They have another one that's on the market now. They're pretty close on a couple other deals, but they're a great example of somebody that took it seriously and just went all in and didn't make excuses and is constantly learning and just good people's totally, that Aloha spirit of just giving and being positive. It was a pleasure to meet them in person. So, yeah, I'd really like to just kind of hear their story a little bit so they can share with you guys, especially since a lot of you guys I know are a little bit newer to the business. I want you guys to hear from someone that is newer and making it happen. And once again, not making excuses. So just want to kind of introduce Tristyn and Kamohai. I know if I mess that up.
All good, man. All good.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the webinar. Thank you guys for your time. And
welcome from us as well, guys. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us.
Thanks for having us, guys. Right, it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, so I'm Tristyn. This is Kamohai. Like Alex said, we started in real estate in actually 2018, but we didn't take full action on it until the end of 2019, September to be specific. So, I mean, our goals were really outlined from September 2019 to September 2020. And we just, he and I reflecting back, what got us here is obviously goals, but we didn't really get serious on our goals until about August of 2020, believe it or not. We were just taking massive action every day, but it wasn't until we joined the mentorship with Steve Rosenberg. I don't know if any of you know who he is, but if you don't, you should definitely check him out. He does have a mentorship, and it's all about goals and business and mindset. And that really was a integral part of us making sure that we were on our right track. I'm a believer, like, you can't just be swinging in the dark, not knowing what you're trying to hit. You can just be saying, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And that's really what we were doing in the beginning. We just want to get a deal, we want to get a deal, we want to get a deal. But you have to think bigger than that, and you have to plan more than that. So that mentorship really made us go backwards, know our why, know our mission, know our vision, and then break down like you guys were with, you know, because it sounded like your guys' goals were real estate related, physically related, related to your wealth and like family and stuff like that. So you should have goals in every part of your life. And so that mentorship we did really made us do that, break down our goals from, you know, 5-10 years down the line and work our way back to 90 days. And so we just reached our 90 days from that mentorship, and we actually achieved them. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's
One of our 90-day goals was to have 2 buy and hold contracts in escrow, and we achieved that. So it works if you work it. You know what I mean? You really do got to write your goals down and know how you're going to get there. And that was a game changer for us as of, I would say, August of 2020. Some of our goals that we had for 2020 were to get 4 deals. We did 3. But again, I attribute not achieving that goal to not having them clear enough, not writing them down, and not getting serious about goals and stuff like that and mindset until late of 2020. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, hindsight for us is 2020. You know, we're looking back now and realizing we thought we had it together. We thought we had like all of our goals planned out. But when we look back and try to like learn from our experiences, we realized that we weren't as clear as we should be with our goals.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say that I want 5 doors with $10,000 of passive income. How are you going to get there? Right? What are the action steps that you need to take in order, like on a monthly basis, on a daily basis, and then time blocking that day, setting those action steps and then taking that action.
Yeah.
And so in the beginning, we weren't doing that. Like Tristyn said, we're like, we just want a deal, you know, how do we get a deal? How do we get a deal? And that was our main focus. But once we did get a deal, a lot of the other very important parts of our business fell off.
Yeah.
And then we got stuck, right? So we got a deal, our first deal, and then we dove into the deal, project managing, what our design, you know what I mean? Like all of that stuff. Our marketing stopped, our offers stopped. And so when we were done with that deal and we sold it, we had to start all over, right? And we attribute that a lot to not having our goals clearly stated, written down, and breaking those goals down on a daily action plan, a monthly action plan. How are we going to get there? Stuff like that.
So right now we have 90-day goals. We have 6 months goals, 1 year goals, 3 year goals, 5 year goals, and 10 year goals. So we actually are planning a little staycation, if you would have it, where we're going to go lock ourselves in a room in a nice setting and literally sit down and review this past year, and then review our 90-day goals for 2021 first quarter, and make sure that we're aligned with them, we're still on board with them. What do we have to do? Do we have to pivot? Do we have to adjust? And I just think it's really important to do that and always do a gut check as often as you can. So some things that I'm doing every single day that help me do that is we do our 90-day planner from Bigger Pockets. I do I am statements, because that's a huge part of mindset. I feel like so what you focus on expands. So if you're focusing on stress, if you're focusing on how things aren't going well, or how this was wrong, or how that's hard, or whatever it is, if you're focusing on anything negative, it's going to grow. It's nature. It's just the way it works. So if I do my I am statements to make sure that I'm focusing on positive things and they're aligned with my goals, so that is expanding every single day. I notice that if I take a day off from doing that, I'm not good. It's not a good day. I'm off. Something is off. So it's critical for me personally to do that. We also believe in exercise. So we're exercising 5 to 6 days a week. I know that if I take a day off, I'm off. Just like Alex, when you said, when I eat crappy, I feel crappy. That's so true. So if I go and I get McDonald's, I feel like crap, regardless of if you're working out or not. So, I mean, I can see that being one of our goals for 2021 is to eat better. But
can I jump in, guys?
Yeah,
so
totally.
What I'm hearing though is that, like, number one is that you had the goal. I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna get in this, but it wasn't that specific, right? You went in there and you just were kind of like flying by the seat of your pants and just making offers and not really structured. But then you got that deal, and then everything kind of stopped. And then you had to kind of reanalyze. Hey, we want a business. We don't want to just buy a deal here and there. And so that is worth noting, that you were able to kind of reevaluate and say, hey, I need this a little bit more structure. And what I also want to add is that a lot of times we hit our goals a little bit early, and then we don't know what to do from there, and we lose momentum, right? Where it's like, so you got to have like that stretch goal. And if you're getting close to that goal, what I found, and not only with me, but with other high-level real estate investors that I know, is like you got to already have another goal, ready to go. Because if you don't, then you're just going to hit that goal and then just cruise, or just not, just plateau, not keep on stretching yourself, because you're now hit that goal and you're like, oh yes, I hit it, and then you don't have anything else to work on. So that's great that you guys were to do that. And then also, I like how, with you, Tristyn, you saying, like, for me, I got to do the I am statements, those affirmations. I need to do that. Maybe Kamohai doesn't have to do that because he needs to work a little bit more on the exercise, because, he feels better doing that. And I think that's important, because you have to pay attention to kind of what you need. Some days I need a little bit more meditation. Some days I feel like I need to read a specific book a little bit more and get it, real deep on that. So I think paying attention to your body, your mind, like what you feel you need is very, very important. I think you guys are doing that, and then making those adjustments. You guys follow what I'm saying? Like, I think that is really, really impactful there for the followers and for everybody on the webinar.
If I could say also, with that said though, not every day is perfect, everyone. We all have our bad days. I've had my bad days. It's been the holidays. I've eaten cheesecake, I've had the food, I've, indulged, but, balance is important, and acknowledging that. So be honest with yourself. And that's why spiritual exercise builds, endorphins. It makes you like positive. So it's all like a balance together with a good work life and a good personal life. And yeah, so that's all.
And man, what the biggest thing I probably took from that was just, again, Tristyn, you said August of 2020 is when you guys, kind of hit the things going. For those of you that don't have a calendar in front of you, that was like 4 months ago. So like, that is pretty impressive. And then, Kamohai, you mentioned like you guys got to that point of where you hit a roadblock, you got your deal, and then you realized, wait, we had all these other goals. We were supposed to do 4 deals, and now we all of a sudden forgot that everything that we had on our goals, we need to make sure we're still trending towards that. So those were 2 of probably the biggest things I took from it. You guys are a young family as well, so there's really no excuses for some of the beginners that we have here on the call. Alex, I know we would also love to kind of maybe just dive into a little bit of your guys, kind of 2021 goals, if you don't mind as well.
Yeah, for sure. Just to touch real quick on the balance thing. I mean, that comes up with us a lot because I run another business on top of our real estate business, and we do have 2 little babies. So I don't think balance is something that you ever 100% figure out or like, yep, I nailed it. I'm totally balanced. My life is legit. I think it's something that is a constant juggling act. And I think that it's about those things that we're talking about, right? Like what you choose to do every single day. Your balance is your system, or like your time blocking. That is your balance, because you're structuring into your day, your health, your family. And if you follow that, and on top of that, if you are enjoying what you're doing, and I'm really blessed that I get to do it with him. But if you're enjoying what you're doing, and if you're doing it with somebody that you're stoked to be around, even though he drives me crazy, like I'm already balanced. I'm good. You know what I mean? So it's just about having that mentality. I think if you're telling yourself, like I said, back to what you focus on, expense, if you're telling yourself, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed, I'm so out of whack, I'm so out of balance, then yeah, good luck. You're not going to be able to ever get balanced. So I think a lot of it is mentality, and your balance is always about figuring it out. And then how you structure your day is your balance.
That was amazing.
Our 2021 goals. We plan on doing 1 fix and flip a month. So like 1 contract for a fix and flip a month. So I would say 12 deals, 12 fix and flips. Ideally, I'll be stoked with 10. We want to get 20 deals through creative finance. So 2021 for us is all about structuring deals creatively. So whether that's through subject to or seller finance, that's really what we plan to grow our portfolio through doing. We want to obtain an additional line of credit through another bank that my other business is with. So I have a good relationship with them. And then just continuing to structure our days and in a way that's healthy for us and our family. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's exactly it.
That's really what it is. But they'll get more refined. Like I said, we're going to lock ourselves in a room and really refine them and make sure we're on track for them. But a big one is continuing to learn and grow and educate. We've done 3 mentorships since we started in real estate. So I'm a firm believer that if you're not learning and you aren't always looking for the lessons and things, then you should give up, because you'll get stuck and you'll feel really lonely. And the minute that you feel like you have it all figured out is the minute that you'll probably start failing. So for us, it's always learning and growing and finding the next mentorship and finding the next thing that we can try and, put into our tool belt. So.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are afraid of that, or like, oh, well, this person's gonna scam me, or this. I mean, there's a lot of real estate investor or like gurus out there, mentorships, masterminds, all that. I'm a big believer if you're not, because I've done several as well, and I'm a big believer in them because they've paid huge dividends for me personally and financially. But also, you also get what you put into those, mentorships, right? Or those programs or whatever you buy. I think too often people go in with this like, oh, they're going to get this magic formula and they just figure it all out. You're going to get the information you need to help you out with your blind spots, but you still got to go out there and execute and put in the work. Right. And that's what you guys are doing. Are you guys, so who are you currently mentoring under right now? I see that you got the Pace Morby.
Yeah.
Going big on that, right?
Yeah, so that's really we joined that in October. So we did Steve Rosenberg's mentorship in August, and then we joined Pace Morby's in October, and it really was a catalyst. It just aligned with our goals in being able to achieve our rental portfolio the way that we wanted to in one of the most expensive markets. You know what I mean? Hawaii is expensive, and the solution was creative finance. So it just aligns. It's such a dope mentorship. I recommend it for anybody, but any mentorship where you can learn and you can grow and you connect with people and you talk to people is where it's at. And yeah, if anything, for me to achieve any goal in any year is just taking massive action every single day. And one of my I am statements that I make sure I write down every single day is being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Because if you're comfortable, you're never going to go anywhere. Like I'm uncomfortable right now doing this. I don't like doing stuff like this. So yeah, but you have to be good with it. And if it's uncomfortable, then it's probably good.
I love it. I love it. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Are we gonna jump into the questions now, Will? I know you're kind of leading the way here. I don't want to jump in. I mean, you're
no. I mean, I'd love it if you guys could dive in just a little bit more and keep chatting. I mean, we're good on time, and I think this is going absolutely great. I love, Tristyn, how you mentioned, you know, massive action, like just taking action, and you guys, you know, kind of said that you have what, daily goals, you have 90-day goals, you have 60-day goals. So you guys told us your end goal, right? You want to get the 12 flips, you want to get the 20 deals. Tell us like some of those smaller steps along the way. A lot of times, again, we have some newbies on the call, some newer, you know, deal makers here. And a lot of times people see that big number and forget that it's all those small steps along the way that really get you there. So if you don't mind, just like kind of dive in on a couple of the smaller ones that you guys are doing daily to make sure you get to that end goal.
Okay. For me, daily, like I said, I always start off with exercise and my I am statements. That's every single day. And then I'm journaling. And when I'm journaling is when I normally have my top 3 things, like my A-list items that absolutely have to get done and nothing else should get done until those 3 things are done. And those are my money-making items. Those are whatever I need to do for real estate that's going to make me money and help me achieve my goals. That's every single day. I mean, you can talk about yours, or I can talk about yours.
No, you're good. Yeah. So day starts off with me the same way. I get up really early, 4:45. We're up every day with the kids. Always meditation in the morning. Exercise is also part of my meditation. Clears my head and gets me ready for the day. But on a more like granular level for reaching those specific business goals, I have, we're big into tracking KPIs, right? One of the biggest things that we learned in Steve's mentorship was how important that is, right? You see how you're getting to your goals, what was working, what's not working. So for me, I know exactly how much marketing I need to send out in order to get, so for me personally, we do SMS and cold calling, and we're not working with VAs or anything yet, right? That's another goal for 2021 to be able to scale our business. But I have to send out 1,000 text messages a day. And I have to cold call for 2 hours in order to get enough leads that I have to build up over the week, right? To end up landing in a contract. So I know that I need 75 leads that turns into a contract. So it's breaking it down that way, right? I know how many leads I need to get a contract, and I work backwards. So I know how many text messages I need to send out. I know how many hours I need to cold call. And so I'm direct to seller every day, 6 days a week right now. And that takes up the majority of my day. And that's basically what the day looks like to try and get to those bigger goals.
So in addition to his direct to seller marketing, we do still make offers on the MLS. In order for us to achieve, the fix and flip goals that we have to make offers on the MLS too. So I'm analyzing at least 2 hours a day on MLS leads, and we try to make 1 offer on the MLS every single day. Market's crazy right now, so it's a little difficult to find really good margin deals, but 1 deal a day. And then we track all those. So we know, hey, it took this many offers to land 1 deal on the MLS, and then we track the off-market offers as well. So yeah, KPIs for sure. I'm also making sure that I'm reading 20 to 30 minutes a day. If somebody's really into mindset, I recommend the Millionaire Mind. What is it called? I'm reading it. Let me find it. Sorry.
Millionaire Mindset.
And then so I'm reading that book, and I'm also reading Rising Strong. So those are really good books. Not a lot. I mean, Audible, if you count that as reading, it's more listening. Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. That's really good for mindset.
Wonderful.
That was awesome, guys. And like Alex said, we're going to dive into some questions from you guys. I know you guys have a lot of questions. Feel free to go ahead and use the Q&A feature down at the bottom of the webinar right now. If you have any questions for Tristyn, for Kamohai, for Alex, about their goals. I know one that just came in, guys, from Amy Elfand is asking you guys specifically, and I know you kind of touched on this, but are you doing everything right now, which is, what it sounded like you guys are? And when did you guys decide that, getting a VA was going to be something that you're adding to that goal list for this year?
We decided that we're going to get a VA probably in November. And we're going to definitely get one in the first quarter of 2021. Right now, he and I are it. Here's our team. I mean, our contractor is a huge part of our team, but he's, doing some stuff like he should be. But he's acquisitions. What we really had to figure out is our roles in our company, because we both can't be doing everything. That's just not efficient. So he's acquisitions mostly, and I'm project management and disposition. So that's how we found our flow. A VA is a virtual assistant.
Yeah. So I think that's a very important part to touch on, is defining roles. Every company needs that. And like for a while, we were both doing everything, right? So it's not efficient, and you butt heads way more than you need to. Right. So clearly defining those roles, staying in our own lanes, has allowed us to build systems that work. And that's really propelling us into 2021, is scaling. I mean, that's what we want to do, right? We want to scale our business. We want to go from 3 fix and flips this year to 12 next year. And that's a big jump, right? So figuring out how to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that was huge for me with the mentorships. Steve's and now Pace Morby's is systematizing everything and always falling back on your system. If you don't work your system, then it's not going to work. So I mean, utilizing certain programs, utilizing certain forms, and always being repetitive with what you're doing so you can track everything, and it's just organized. You don't have to just fly off the seat of your pants. You can just refer back to what you know works.
Cool. All right. Any questions for these rock stars, you guys? Otherwise, we were going to go on to the questions, and I think some of them they're going to help answer as well.
Yeah, I think they are going to go ahead and hang around, guys. If you guys saw some value from what Kamohai and Tristyn were kind of saying today, if you guys don't mind just dropping us a little aloha down there in the chat. Again, thank you guys for spending the time with us. And I think you mentioned you guys are going to be able to stick around for us for a little bit later and answer some more questions with Alex as they come, right?
Yeah, for sure. We ain't going nowhere.
Perfect, guys.
Absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
Well, Alex, without further ado, let's dive into some of our questions from the attendees. The first one we had coming in here, again, just kind of asking, how specific of goals do you set?
Great question. Because sometimes I think it could be very generic. You write a goal out, hey, I want to lose weight. And that's just not specific enough, because what does exactly that mean? How much weight you're going to lose and how much time? What does that really look like? So you have to be more specific, because otherwise you're not going to accomplish it most times. For example, one of my big goals this year is I want to buy a 10-unit apartment building in Palmdale, Lancaster, the Antelope Valley, for less than $80,000 per door. So that's pretty specific. It's I don't know if you guys have heard the term SMART goals, but I can go into that real quickly. Essentially, it's the acronym SMART, which stands for specific, right? A 10-unit, right? Measurable by the end of the year. Actually, I'm sorry, by my birthday, June 26th, by the middle of the year, I want to get that goal done. Attainable it's attainable. As long as I flip this capital that I have now in the first 3 to 5 months of next year, then I'll have enough capital to go ahead and buy a building that size. Relevant is very relevant because Will, I, and the team are actively doing flips in Palmdale, Lancaster already, but there's also cash flowing opportunities. That's why I want a 10-unit building. It is relevant and time-based. So there's a time frame in the first 6 months of next year, I want to accomplish that goal. So if your goals don't hit all of these things, they're not going to be specific enough for you to be able to break it down even more. Because remember, as they just discussed, if it's too generic, you're not going to know how to accomplish that goal. You need to be able to break it down even more. Okay, so how do I accomplish that goal by taking actions every day? So it's really about chunking things down, your goals, to the lowest possible action step, right? Whereas you have, I think Brandon Turner says the MINS, right? The minimum next step. I think it is, yeah. So you know what to do next, rather than just, oh, how am I going to accomplish this big goal I have for next year? Well, if you're able to break that all the way down because it's specific enough, then you're more likely to be able to accomplish that big goal because you're doing things on a day-to-day basis that eventually get you there, right? Yeah. And then next
1,000,000%. Sorry. Yeah, 1,000,000%. And it all really comes down to the basics. Coming back to this raise planner, you guys, you set your goals for the year, like we're doing 2021, but it also breaks down at the end of the day to basics, each and every day. The journey of 1,000,000 miles starts with a single step. So you got to take that step, and you have to be, one of our things as our team was to be the Kaizen. It's a Japanese thing, being 1% better each and every day. So being consistent, I think, is the best thing. Being organized, your mental health is so important. And especially now with COVID going on and everything going on, you have to be good with yourself, your energy, your colleagues, your family, to be doing what we're doing. So yeah, it's really great and important with the raise planner. Again, please check it out. I did post it. I'll post it again. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. There is a YouTube channel that you can watch that explains the breakdown of how to do the quarterly process, and then also the raise habits, which are each daily goals and a weekly goal and a monthly goal. So yeah. Okay. Next question. Good job, Alex. Is it possible, with that said, which goes into the next one, to set too many goals? Is that ultimately setting yourself up for failure? And that's hence why I said that.
I think that's another amazing question, you guys, because I think it is possible to set too many goals. Once you start to get some motivation, you know what you want, you got a better idea of the area you want to spend time in and grow in. It's easy to kind of just write off a list of 20, 30 things you want to accomplish in a year. But the challenge with that and the danger of that is that your mind is going to be spread all over the place. And I think you need to have a certain amount of goals, because if you have say 20 goals for the year, I mean big goals, right? 20 big goals, you're likely to accomplish less than if you had 10 or if you had 5, because that's just the way the mind works. So I think you need to have, that's why we like the raise, because it covers different parts of your life, but it also is not asking for 20 goals per area of your life. It's 5 goals for your different areas, and then what are the most important goals for that quarter. And so you're able to kind of break things down as we keep talking about. So you really want to narrow your focus to top 5 goals for the quarter, as opposed to hey, I accomplished these 20 goals for the year. You really got to break things down, because otherwise you're just going to not know what to work on, what to focus on. So I think that's very important, that you have goals and they're specific, but not so many that you get lost and you get distracted and you're not focused on even accomplishing all of the ones that you have said are the most important. So, yeah.
Yes, and with the race planner too, it's on a daily percentage thing. So it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you can check each one you do the percentage, and you can do it on a monthly basis. So each quarter you'll say oh my goodness, their goal was to do 12 flips. And if it's March and it's almost the second quarter, they've done one, they're like, okay, we need to shift gears and double down. We need to do more flips, you know? So it's important to stay accountable and on track as to what you're doing and where you are. Because then next thing you know, oh my gosh, tomorrow's 2021, you know, like time does fly. As long as this year has been, it's crazy to know like it's ending. So yeah, next one is your morning and night routine. I think that's super important personally. Morning and night, it's super great. It sets yourself up for success. So yeah.
Yeah. So I found that when I don't do my evening routine, it does affect my morning routine a little bit. But I mean, just keep things simple. Like at nighttime, I like to put on soft music to just really, get off my phone at least an hour before I go to bed. Have this apple cider vinegar and water, like warm water with a little bit of organic honey, kind of like a shot that I take to help really calm my nerves, and it helps me go to sleep quicker. And so just kind of and I like to read for a little bit at night. I don't like to read business-oriented books at night. I like to read more spiritual or things that are like philosophy, things of that nature, because if you read business books at night, your mind might be racing a little bit more, harder to fall asleep. And then in the morning time, I'm big on the whole Miracle Morning book. So I do that, the savers, the morning reading, morning meditation, morning workout. A little bit, I definitely like to stretch as well. I think stretching is really important and overlooked. And so those are kind of my general routines. And when I don't hit those, I don't feel the same. But being that I know Tristyn and Kamohai are big on that as well, what are your guys' routines kind of look like? I know you guys touched on them a little bit, but you want to expand a little bit?
Yeah, so morning time, right now we're doing the 90-day intention journal from Brandon Turner. It's super good. Like you were talking about mins, that's one of the things in there. So yeah, it's a routine in the morning. So we cover like prayer, meditation, we do our journal, I am statements, and then we fill out figure out our day. It time blocks your day in there as well. So you have the ability to do all the time blocking in there. And then exercise, I run. So I'm a runner. I run 4 miles every morning. And then for the nighttime stuff, our days are so crazy and busy. We have 2 little kids, right? So after dinner and we get the kids to bed, it's like our alone time, right? So we get together actually with our 90-day planner and we go over our day and see how the goals that we had set, if we accomplish things, we discuss all of that stuff. And then we'll talk. So phones down, just enjoying each other's company at nighttime. I'm not a big reader at night. Sometimes she does, because just like you said, Alex, reading gets my brain going at nighttime. But if I don't do those things personally, I feel off. Like we've been doing them every day for a really long time, that when I'm not doing them, I totally feel it as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for diving in a little bit on your kind of morning routines, guys. That's awesome. I think we've all had a case of that, where you read that book at night and then you end up staying up all morning, putting it into action. Sometimes I'll be sitting there and I get about 4 or 5 emails from Jay at 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'm like, what is Jay doing right now? And I'm like, oh, she was watching something, she was reading something, she's on fire. Like, she's handling it, because her mind was racing and she couldn't get out of it. So we actually have a really great question coming in all the way from Edward Tham, one of our guests here, and he's just wondering specifically for you guys, and this is one of our questions, was how are you guys tracking things to replicate this success? And his specific questions were on your KPIs that you mentioned earlier, Kamohai, like, how many calls and how many texts, like how are you kind of building those systems and coming up with those processes?
Yep. So I have been consistently marketing to direct to seller for 3 months. So I gave myself like a 3-month period and kind of tried to backtrack from there. But the software that I use, right, it tracks every single KPI, and it's built into the software. So I literally can go back every day and see exactly how many contacts I've had, how many conversations I've had. And we'll put those into a CRM system or an Excel spreadsheet. And then that's how we kind of visualize it.
Yeah. The MLS offers I just do it on a spreadsheet. It's real easy. I just enter in the address, the offer, and the outcome.
Delilah said that's awesome. So I mean, you guys can see it's just having a system in place. You can start with an Excel spreadsheet. You can then move it to a CRM. You know, it's definitely it takes action and starting so that you can learn what works best for you, and then you can always, you know, correct and get back on course. Alex, you know, for us specifically, what are some of the things, you know, that we're kind of tracking to replicate our success?
Yeah, great question. So I was going to add to that so, for example, when we look back at our business, we look at certain things and see that it's working, and we want to continue to double down on that. That's the whole reason you track on it, not only because you want to eliminate the things that are not working, but you want to start to spend more time, more energy, more money on the things that are working. And that's, you know, that's the whole thing about making the adjustments. So for us, like social media has worked pretty well. We've gotten some deals from that, and it's really not cost us any direct money. It's been, you know, just a hustle and thinking about our followers and constantly providing, you know, value there. And it's, at first I treated it kind of like, okay, it's just kind of random. But then once I started seeing actual, like, real tangible results, like to the bottom line, I was like, wait a minute, this is making a lot of sense. So we're doubling down on that. Another example would be like when I was doing a lot of Google AdWords, like they were working. I didn't know at the time because I wasn't doing a good enough job tracking it. But then when I went back and looked at the numbers, I'm like, holy smokes, this is like a great ROI. And it also, it's not only on your core business, but it's on deals themselves. Like, for example, the reason we're investing in Palmdale, Lancaster, in those areas of Southern California is not because we want to be in those areas, because the return on investment for the properties we've already worked on there were much better than the other areas of LA. So we looked at the numbers and we're like, damn, this makes a lot of sense. We could flip more houses with less money, and the houses here are a little bit newer, so we don't have to spend as much on the rehabs, and we can actually buy property that we could hold on to and do BRRRRs on, or multifamily. But that's because we were reviewing our numbers. If we weren't doing that, we wouldn't know to make those decisions. So I just want to add that.
Yeah. That's amazing.
We totally started doing the same thing, like tracking heavily like your rehab costs and your price per square foot, and like, you know, making sure you have all your docs in one spot, because come tax time is like crazy, right? But knowing your numbers is so crucial in this business, for sure. Yeah. On all your costs, marketing costs, rehab costs. Yeah. And I love that, Alex.
Yes, amazing. So winding things down, we are getting a couple questions. Just gonna go ahead and throw in. One we got was, my goal is to house hack this year, Alex. What is the best way to get started?
Okay, so I did a really good video about this. So if we don't put it in the chat, just check out my IGTV. It's actually on house hacking in an expensive market. One of my most shared, one of my most saved videos. But the quick answer to that is, I truly, if I could go back in time, honestly, the very first thing I'd probably do is a house hack on a triplex or fourplex. Now I'd probably buy something fixer upper. But the number one thing is, I think you want to get qualified and start thinking already about buying at least a duplex. I mean, you can do the whole maybe 3-4 bedroom house, rent out the bedrooms. I personally just like the idea of having more units because I think there's more upside potential for that. So I would say number one is just get qualified for the max you can, but then also start working on your mindset, because to buy a triplex and fourplex, you're probably going to have to borrow more money than you were expecting to buy for the house. And so it's something you got to wrap your hands around, because psychologically taking on more debt, it seems like it's not a good decision. But when you look at the income potential from the property on a triplex, fourplex, there's going to be more upside once again to that. So I would say, number one, get your mindset right about possibly getting a bigger unit than what you originally thought about, because it's going to be better for you in the long term. And number two, get qualified for like as much as you possibly can. and then pick up some books on the house hacking. There's, I think, Craig Kurlop from Bigger Pockets wrote one on the house hacking. So definitely get educated about that, because it's such an easy way to get started. And especially in expensive markets, to not have a housing expense and to maybe even be cash flowing a little bit of money on your first investment deal is like the perfect way to start, in my opinion. So I'd say read that book, get qualified, and then start thinking about, hey, should I do something bigger than what I thought? Maybe I shouldn't buy a house, because a lot of people just buy a house and it ends up being a liability. And maybe they rent out one room or two. I get it. But again, I'm just a bigger fan of those, because eventually you could refinance and then do the whole, turn that into a full-time rental and then go do it again. If you've been there for at least a couple of years. So I'd say those are kind of my top tips for house hacking, particularly in an expensive market.
Yeah. Kamohai, you guys, I know you guys, anything to add to that, or Will?
No, we've never house hacked. We don't have any strategies for that. But I mean, any way that you can turn your primary residence into an asset that's cash producing is the way to go.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm right there with you guys. The folks that are asking that question, it's my list. It's on my goals to house hack this year as well. So, aside from my business goals with Alex, to flip 24 deals here in Southern California, I also have my personal goals, which is important. And one of my personal goals is to purchase my first, triplex or four bang or whatever I can get my hands on out here in Los Angeles, and again, use that to turn some income into me. So again, guys, I think this was a great chat. I appreciate our special guests, Tristyn and Kamohai, for coming on, joining us and diving into some of the goals that really got them, and again, to where they've been in just a short amount of time. What I'd love to do, guys, if you don't mind, just take a quick picture, smiling and some thumbs up, just so we can have a great picture for this for later. And then let's go ahead and get everybody else into the room here. We're going to invite all the other panelists to join us here on screen. And I'd love to hear some of the other folks' goals. If you guys have your goals that you guys are thinking of for 2021, once we get you on screen here, feel free to go ahead and share those and turn on your mics, turn on your screens, and welcome to the chat.
Yes, aloha, everyone.
And Alex is going to start calling some of you guys out if we don't hear any goals here.
Yeah, I know a couple people here. What's your goal, Giuseppe? If you can talk. Or I'm going to call on or George. Oh, my man Cal's in the building. What's up, Cal?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining again. Hopefully you guys really take this in.
Dude, I know Rory has some big goals. What's up, Rory? What's going on, man? I'm going to call on you, bro.
What's up, Alex? Thank you guys, first of all, so much for doing this. This was every week. I keep saying this week is the best week, and every week there's a new best week. So thank you again for doing this. And Tristyn and Kamohai, I'm sorry. Thank you guys so much for sharing everything. For me, I'm in house hack just like Will. Already been looking for stuff. Already got qualified. Initially, I was going to think duplex. I'm here in Los Angeles as well, but I'm definitely going to go for a tri or quad if I can. I've got a goal of a flip, at least one per quarter. So I've never done a flip before. I do have a buy and hold out in Columbus, Ohio, but I really want to get into the flip game. So those are some of the two big things for me.
And how can the group here keep you accountable? Like what's the toughest one you need help with?
Honestly, I think it's really granular and like a lot of what you guys were saying, and it's breaking it down by each level and just being consistent every day, being on the grind every day. That's why I think this goal spreadsheet is such a useful tool. I can really see the utility and power in it if you stick to it. And if you keep at it every day, every week, every month, it's going to pay off.
Love it.
I'm gonna call on somebody else. What's up, Tay? Can you share it? What's up?
Hi guys, what's up? Okay, so I did start on my 2021 goals. I would like to wholesale one deal a month, whether straight wholesale to a flipper or creative financing team. And I kind of was able to work backwards. So because I already have a VA, I'm actually going to be increasing her hours so that we get more leads per day and therefore just closer to a closed contract a month. So I think we're gonna probably next week we're putting her on 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday.
Great, awesome.
It's like the main goal.
Awesome. Awesome.
That's awesome, Tay. And you know, again, I think that comes down to the KPIs, right? You were able to track some of those KPIs and figure out, hey, maybe it's time to hire a VA. So that's awesome.
All right, who else wants to share their goals for this next year or next quarter?
This is Delilah. I want to share.
Welcome, Delilah. Let's hear it.
Well, I just want to say I'm working right now and while I'm doing this. So if you hear a phone ring, I'm going to have to log off. But my goals this year is to work on my credit. So I joined Bigger Pockets. I got the calculators. I saw Alex on the Bigger Pockets webinar. And so then I started following Alex. And so that's how I ended up in this forum. And so I connected with a real estate friendly, an investor friendly real estate office. And they also do property management. So I scheduled time to speak with them. And so they gave me some action items to pull my credit reports and verify that information. And then I'm analyzing 3 deals a day. So my goal is every day to analyze 3 deals a day. And for 2021, the goal is really to do what Alex said, have a duplex or a quadplex. But the goal is for 24 months, and I think it's too far out. I may be able to do that this year. I just don't know. I'm learning as I go. So my goal is to do the house hacking and get in that way. And so I'm really grateful for the content and everyone paying it forward, and see how courageous the couple is doing the mentorships and all that. So it's really encouraging. So my goal is to go ahead and get all that, taking care of my credit situation, making sure that that's good, and step into one of those deals.
Awesome, Delilah. Love it. Well, it sounds like you need to get your credit in order. But if that is in order, that I don't see why you wouldn't be able to get a deal next year under those circumstances. So one domino has to fall for the next one, but doesn't mean that you need to make it a 24-month goal. Just means you need to get that credit in check. ASAP.
Right. It's not bad. It's not bad. I'm just making sure that it's where it needs to be so that I can go ahead and move forward. So I'm just actually going through the process.
Exactly. Trust the process.
I love the daily action. That's awesome. Keep it up, Delilah.
Who else? Come on.
Yeah, I'll go ahead, Alex.
Let's go, Sergio.
Sergio in the building from
What's up?
Yes, sir. So my actual goal is actually to house hack again this year. I've house hacked twice already. I decided to move into an apartment complex. So I'm going to re-house hack, buy a triplex. I already set up which one I'm going to buy. I just need to set my finances correctly and buy that. And then my goal for flipping is 15 houses. We got 2 under contract. I know I spoke to Alex about one that was about to die, but I ended up getting a private lender to maybe fund it. So I'll find out on Monday if it's funded or not. So it's always finding a solution to the problem, even if a problem arises.
Yes, love it.
Love that.
But those are my 2 biggest goals. Go ahead, Alex.
No, I was gonna say. So you guys, Sergio's is also in our Ryan Pineda coaching program, and so he's in Dallas. So definitely put your Instagram there in the chat, Sergio, in case anybody ever has a need or any questions about the Dallas market.
Will do, Alex. But yeah, those are my 2 biggest goals, and I've already filled out the race plan, which I recommend everybody to fill it out. It will help you stay on track with your goals, and help you reach those goals.
Awesome, man. That's great. Who else has some goals to share?
All right.
Don't make Alex start calling you out again.
Right.
George, what's your goals, man? What do you got coming up?
Hey.
Hey, hi everyone. Thank you everyone for kind of being here. Thank you for Alex, for your team for doing this every Wednesday. For me personally, I want to start analyzing deals every day, practice doing that so I could kind of, do a flip. I want to do a flip this year, and then kind of build from that, build my portfolio. just trying to get in the game, you know, trying to learn from everyone that's doing it. And, you know, I want to practice analyzing deals so it just comes really quick. You know, that's about it.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, George.
Those were great, George. Let's see if we can make those SMART goals, though. A little bit more SMART, you know, like attainable, trackable. Delilah said she's doing 3 deals a day. So how many deals are you going to analyze a day?
Try to do 3, 5, you know.
There you go. I love it.
At least 3 or 5, you know, try to get it done, you know, so like it becomes a second nature and easier, you know.
I just wanted to chime in there. So the reason why I'm doing 3 is because I need to do 100 a month. And so 3 a day is like the actionable goal that can get me to 100. So it forces me to do it every single day so I can get to the 100. So that maybe I can get 1 offer or 1 deal or something like that. And that's how I decided to do the 3. Just a heads up. Maybe that'll help.
Awesome. Okay.
Thank you.
Who else wants to share? Come on, guys. Don't be shy. We're going to hold you accountable.
Yes.
I'll share my goal.
Let's hear it.
Who was that?
Me, Ulysses. What's up, guys? So my goal for this year coming up is try to get a duplex by April. And my action steps, I'm going to be driving for dollar and cold calling every week and at least get in contact with 10 people a week. Property owners.
Mic drop. Boom.
Mic drop. That's awesome. That's 10. That's a number. That's a trackable, attainable. That's a SMART goal, Ulysses. I love it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for your time too. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Thank you so much. Hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of this and definitely utilize that raise planner. It's amazing.
All right. Who else, guys? Come on. I'm going to start calling on people. I want to hear a couple more.
I can go.
Edward's got one coming. Let's go, Edward.
Let's go.
I'm a local realtor in Los Angeles, so I do that full time. My goal is to GCI, not counting 2 big deals I have potentially coming, to do 200,000 this year. Starting a flipping where I have a partnership with a buddy of mine and my family. So do 3 flips this year is the goal on that. Ideally, burr one of them, but if it's 3 flips, that's a win for me. And then from there is just grow my business, my real estate business. Have 2 big deals I'm working on that's potentially life-changing money, but I'm not counting that because it's kind of ridiculous. But we're not going to talk about that.
Love it. All right, I'm going to call someone else. What about you, Gabriella? What do you got going?
Hi. So I don't have a specific goal for 2021 as it is. I just know for the start of the year, I really want to change my mindset. I have like a month off of work. Surprisingly, my vacation and some time off from the holidays matched up. So I'm getting all my stuff together, like my corner, my broom to like start. Oops. Sorry, my phone's acting up. Sorry, I forgot what I was talking about. Just to change my mindset, start meeting new people who are doing the same thing. I feel like that's huge, getting into like the right network and the connections and just more starting off. That's where I'm at. I see a lot of you guys kind of already have a plan. I feel like I haven't figured out my plan yet, but this is like my 4th meeting that I've attended and I can plan on to keep up, I guess, and listening to you guys speak and then just getting my head right.
Just so you know, the mindset is a daily thing. So if you're having challenge with that, that means you got to work on your mindset every single day. I don't have as much of a challenge with my mindset, but when I did during those stretches of time, it was like reading the books on mindset, is listening to the podcasts, like, you know, all that, because that's what gets your mindset stronger when you need that side, and then it'll hopefully propel you to like take more action because you have a stronger mindset, or again, maybe get you to that planning phase of like, hey, my mindset's right. I believe I can do this. Let me write down what those goals are that I believe I can do. Right. And so you got to definitely work on that. So I got a couple books I'm going to send you, a couple suggestions on mindset.
I'd really
quick question is there anybody else in the group who is also thinking that, hey, mindset might be a big thing for them? If somebody else in the group, you know, Rory, I see Rory with the thumbs up. maybe you guys should connect and try and hold each other accountable and say, hey, let's connect offline. Let's connect via Instagram, and once a week or once every other week or twice a week, let's just check in with each other and make sure, hey, did you read that book that Alex suggested? Did you get through that next group talk, and make sure that we're able to get you through that mindset. All right, Gabriella?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks so much for sharing. Who else has something to share?
I'll go ahead and share. This is Warren talking. I'm from Oahu, Hawaii. What's up, Alex? Great job today, Tristyn and Kamohai. So my goals for 2021, I think I should step it up a little bit, but my goals initially when I planned it out were 4 units, 4 doors. I'm driving for dollars, trying to add 1 potential lead onto my CRM per week. I'm analyzing 1 deal a day, and I'm hoping to put out an offer on a property, hopefully in the next week or 2. I have some things coming up, but I'm trying to time block at least 1 to 2 hours a day dedicated for real estate. Once I finish some of these tests that I have in the next 2 weeks, I'm hoping to time block hopefully 4 hours per day, and also continue to work on my mindset on a daily basis. But yeah, those are my 2021 goals.
That's beautiful. Thank you everyone for sharing. And I think also for mindset, do things that make you happy in a sense too. Sometimes with everything even going on, put yourself in a good, healthy space. So do what fulfills you in that sense, like makes you happy.
Guys, we're going to have a couple more people share their goals before we do. I know some people have to hop off as we kind of get through the hour here. What we're going to do next week on Monday, guys, is we're going to send out an email. And the email is going to include a copy of Alex's calculator, because last week when we put out the poll, a lot of you guys said, hey, I don't have a calculator yet. What are you talking about? How are you analyzing deals? So we're going to get you a copy of the calculator that Alex did last week during the webinar, so that you guys can see, hey, do I have a deal? Am I analyzing this right? Does this make sense? And with that, we're going to go ahead and include a copy of the link for the recording from last week's webinar, as well as the recording from this week's webinar. So if you guys want to go back and rewatch that, get a little bit more insight and say, hey, how did Alex do this? What did he compare it to? Or if you want to come check back on people's goals, or check back with Tristyn and Kamohai and say, hey, how were they talking about their goals? What was it that kind of shifted their mindset? We're going to include that link for this week and next week's as well. So keep an eye out for that email. It'll be coming. Jay and I are working on that here this week.
Yes, we are.
Alex, who's next?
All right, so let me see. I'm gonna pick on Rodney. What's up, Rodney?
Hey.
What's up, Alex? How y'all doing? Hey, don't feel bad, Gabriella. I'm a newbie too. So, but I started following you from the Bigger Pockets podcast you did a little bit earlier. Just jumped into it. Pretty much trying to find like where my niche is at. You know, just real quick about my background. I retired from the military early in 2020, April. So I'm kind of like reinventing myself, so to speak. And I came across you guys, and I really like the Bird method. You know, I really like solving people's problems and helping them out. So I'm joining these podcasts, these webinars, just being a part of the conversation, so I can figure out how I can make a difference, you know, give back, you know.
Okay, so how many birds are you gonna do next year?
Oh, how many birds?
You're gonna do 1, you're gonna 2, like what? What's the goal? Come on.
It's a long year. I would love to do at least 3, you know, at least 3, you know, and get
Let's go.
And get that mentorship, you know, because I know the potential I got. It's just a matter of getting the right support. You get what I'm saying? So, but I think I knew you was gonna call me soon.
You were smiling too big not to call on you, Rodney. I love it, man. Hey, Kamohai and Tristyn, can you guys go into real quick, like what made you decide to join Pace Morby's, you know, his mentorship group? Like for me, when I think of a mentor, I just think of like why I work with Alex. Like Alex is my mentor because Alex has already taken a lot of the bumps and bruises along the way. that I said, hey, he's already taken the beating. Why would I need to take that same one? And I feel like that's the same for you guys. You said, hey, we want to dive into creative financing. We want to be able to help more people and solve more problems and get more properties. And here's a guy, Pace Morby, that's crushing it in that category, in that field. And you guys are able to what? Just grab onto his coattails and say, hey, let's get to the promised land, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was really his vibe too. We're really feely, vibey people, and we go with what feels good. And we liked how he positions himself, his message, his morals. But really, it was about how creative finance can help us achieve our goals in our market. We want to buy and hold property where we live, where we grew up. We don't necessarily, not to say that we'll never invest in any other states, but our focus is to really acquire property here on Hawaii, where they're not making any more land, and it's expensive, and there's only our properties only appreciate. They really never depreciate here.
I feel like
no, go.
I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, it's okay. And then so for us, our cost of living, our average cost for a home here, median price point is like $750,000 or $850 now. Kamohai is saying. So I don't have that in my back pocket. I will, but I don't have that today. But that isn't going to stop me from trying to acquire rental properties. And how can I do it fast? Through creative finance.
Yeah, I think even more so, I was running across a lot of people that the numbers didn't work traditionally.
Yeah.
Right. So just like Rodney was saying, like one of our missions is helping people. That's what we vibe with. That's what our passion is helping people. And so I was doing a lot of marketing. I'm coming across these deals, very motivated sellers, but the numbers just don't work for a flip, right?
Or a wholesale, yeah.
Or a wholesale, whatever it is. The traditionally, it just didn't work. The numbers didn't work. So Pace gave us the opportunity to help more people. That's basically what it comes down to. We can make deals work that wouldn't normally work with traditional methods of acquiring properties. So that was like one of the other big things for us.
Yeah. So there's now we know that there's so many more options. There's so many more solutions. There's no deal really that we can't make work.
So I just want to say one thing real quick. I'm noticing a pattern. A couple of people have talked about the mentorship. I personally have spent over $40,000 in the last year and a half for masterminds, mentorship, all that. But like they said, you got to pay to play sometimes. You got to be able to invest, because it's not about investing into them. It's investing into yourself, your business. When I first went on my own, I wanted to do fix and flip, but I took a wholesaling course because I wanted to understand how these wholesalers were getting these deals, so that way I can get better deals consistently. I paid $16,000, but then I got 2 deals out of that made us about $80,000. So that was a good return. And then I ended up spending $5,000 to come to Hawaii, to come to the mastermind here with Brandon Turner and all them. And that was the best $5,000 I've ever spent my entire life because of the relationships I was able to build, the knowledge I was able to learn from other people doing things at a much bigger level. But and then finally working now with Ryan Pineda, he wholesaled me a deal that me and my partner made a great return on, and he made a lot of money on. But I just felt like, hey, this guy's doing way more deals than I am, and I respect him already knew him. No ego there, right? It's just like, okay, let me invest in working with him because he already knows more than me. So I think there's a combination of like, you guys, especially the newer people, like I don't think it's that important to sign up for mentorship right away. But if you're taking a lot of action and coming across a lot of roadblocks, then it's that time to start considering that. Because if you do it too soon, then you're not going to be able to implement the mentorship knowledge you learn because you're not taking enough action. So I think it's really that finding that balance of like, hey, I'm new. I want to set my goal. This is my goal. Let me go take some action. Now I've come across some roadblocks. There's some blind spots I have that I don't know what they are, but I know there's somebody that I resonate with. I like their message. I like their presentation. I've heard good things about their mentorship. or their programs and then going in at the right time. Because if you haven't taken enough action and you're already looking for mentorship, I feel like that's why a lot of people sign up for these expensive courses. They don't take any action, and then they blame the course. They blame, the people that are selling them the course because they didn't, but really the reality is that they weren't ready for that information and they weren't taking action already. So just make sure that you're taking action, learning the free stuff before you start paying for stuff. Because like, for example, with Tristyn Kamohai, they've already been taking a lot of action. They found that, hey, it's going to be hard for us to scale in our market with our strategy. What do we need to do? Okay, who's the best in the game on creative financing? That's Pace Morby and them. And they like that guy's vibe. So they want to go sign up with them, even though they're already successful. It's not like the people that are successful are successful because of all the action. They're successful because they keep on investing in themselves, their business over and over again. I might have to invest another $5,000 to go to that mastermind again. Fortunately, I'm not going to have to pay for airfare because I already live here in Hawaii. It's probably here. But like, do I want to spend that $5,000? Not necessarily, but I'm taking action. And I know being around these people, learning more and building these relationships are going to continue to be valuable for my business. So I just want you guys to kind of look at it that way, especially because a lot of you are newer. Just make sure that you identify your goals first, take some action, and then think about the mentorship or paying for stuff. Because even with myself, one last thing, that wholesaling program that I paid $16,000 for, during that time, I'm like, man, I'm not getting my value, but I wasn't really ready to execute. I didn't have the team to execute that program, and I was already blaming it on the program, and really it was on me. Even though I did get a good return eventually on that program, I think if I had been a little bit more ready or had taken more action or had better teammates, I would have been able to get a little bit more out of that program. So hopefully that makes sense, you guys.
No, it definitely does. And I mean, I'm in the same boat as Rory. I feel like each week it just keeps getting better and better. And I mean, the nuggets and gems that were dropped today were just truly incredible. Alex and Tristyn, you both mentioned something there, vibes. Like, Tristyn, you guys are vibey. So, you weren't just going to jump in and get a mentorship with somebody that you didn't vibe with. Like Steve Rosenberg, very easy guy to vibe with. He's pretty, to the point. He's going to use a swear word here or there, and he's going to call you out on your bullshit. And, if you don't like that kind of vibe, then it's not going to work out well for you. And Rodney, if you were to call Pace Morby and say, hey, Pace, I really love burrs. Can you help me out with my burrs? What do you think he would say, guys?
Negative.
He'd say negative. He'd laugh at you. He says no burrs. He hates the burrs, right? So, what Alex was saying, do your research, know a little bit about what it is you want to get into, and then pick that person that's going to really take you to that platform that you want to get to, and use those mentors to kind of get you there. So let's wrap it up here, guys. We got another a couple minutes here. We'll cut it off here at the half hour, but want to hear from a couple more people on your goals for 2020.
I want to call out on a couple people. I want to call out on Zasha.
She's like,
the Maui Queen. What's up, Maui Queen? Let's go. Let's hear your goal.
So, well, one of my goals too is to buy an apartment building. I'm still setting exactly.
You're looking estate planning purposes.
Can you hear me?
Right. At the end of the day,
a couple people are unmute
them.
Go ahead. We can hear you.
Go to probate.
Okay. So one of my goals is to buy an apartment building, and I'm still figuring out now that I'm learning about creative financing, and I'm trying to do burrs here already. I'm hitting some, not stone walls, but I always get past them, but finding out the DTI and hitting that,
You're cutting out.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. Okay.
Okay. Your debt comes really high. So one of my goals is to buy an apartment building through creative financing. Sorry. The kids are home. But yeah, so finding a deal that way and possibly working with, the Hawaii team here, and Tereva is on Maui, possibly getting something through that. I haven't defined things, but I did want to say one thing to everybody who's just starting out. Like the biggest thing, like they said, was taking action. I started without any sort of mentorship and just kind of following my gut. I did a flip, I bought a rental, and now it's just kind of defining what my end goal is. And it'll constantly change, but staying focused on that. I still work on that daily, and Tereva knows we meet up and talk about this, but it's really important to just take action.
And guys, Zasha, just so you know, she's sending a 1099 over. She's one of the only people in the room, I think, that's hired Alex for manual labor. So, you know, again, we're getting a 1099 from her for taxes. So, you know, she really is a boss. Who else are we calling out here to close this out, Alex?
We're gonna call out Andy, and then we want Jacob. So those are the last two.
Let's hear it, Andy. What's your goals for 2021, man?
Hey, hi everyone. Most of my goals are start off with wholesaling. I'm kind of new. I took the mentorship option. I didn't know anything about real estate. Luckily, I found a great mentor. His name is Alex Camacho. I took action. I mean, days of hours of mentions, volunteering my time with Alex, going to work with my 9 to 5 job. So some of my goals is really down. I'm wholesaling with flyers. I'm trying to get in on that one diner to call and actually call for wholesaling, as well as maybe get into one flip or 2 flips at the end of the year, possibly. That's a major goal I have for myself. And other than that, it's the quality time with my family. That's always a motivation for myself. So I set that as a goal, as always spending more time with them, as well as enhancing my ability to, getting into free Zooms because of my limited financial stability right now. So free Zoom meetings, webinars, anything I could just learn throughout other people's struggles.
Love it, man. That's on my list. So like on my goals is to attend one webinar every week, minimum. And you know, like we mentioned, a lot of us here, and Steve Rosenberg's, Alex and I's, and Jay's, you know, and so we're actively out there doing it too, man. So love the action steps. Keep it up, man. Keep going.
Yeah, man. We're in 3 or 4 Zooms a week, so super
This
important.
is great motivation.
Keep that mind going, you know.
All right, Jacob, let's hear it.
Close us out, Jacob. What do we got?
Yes.
What's up, guys? Thanks for putting this on. Just the wealth of information, especially before the new year, to align our goals and to keep those goals are super, super important. I got a lot of goals, but I think the main one is to house hack a triplex or fourplex here in LA. That would be a phenomenal goal to get, and I will get it by the end of this year. The other one is to determine a out-of-state market to start my bird business in. And I would love to do 2 bird deals with that. And then the last thing would be meditating daily. I'm big on starting your mornings right, keeping that mindset right. And for me, meditation, TM meditation to be specific, if anyone's into that stuff, I recommend it, and it's really helped out. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think we're gonna wrap things up here, guys. Do you want to send us off, Will? Anything that we missed? Again, I appreciate all your guys' time. Let's make 2021 our best year ever. We're here to help you guys transform your lives, and we're gonna be putting these on every week, and we're gonna be, doing the best we can to provide value and help everybody in this community.
Guys, again, Alex said it. We appreciate your time. You guys are the ones that are taking action to come out here. It's nothing on us to schedule an hour here or there, but you guys are the ones taking action to come out here and improve your real estate portfolio, your real estate knowledge. And again, we appreciate Tristyn and Kamohai being our first guests on here and sharing their goals for 2021. You guys crushed it. Guys, keep an eye out for an email. Jay and I are going to be sending an email out to you. It's going to have the calculator from Alex and a couple of recordings from this week and last week, just so you can kind of follow back and make sure that you guys have everything right. If you guys have any questions on the calculators, reply back, let us know, and also shoot us an email or get in touch with Jay, Alex, or I via DM, and let us know what you guys need help with. You know, ask questions so that we can bring answers to you next Wednesday. Zasha was mentioning the roadblocks. Like if you get to a roadblock, let us know and we can help you guys out. And you know, all the people who are here in the room can help you get through that roadblock. So Happy New Year, and we'll see you guys all next week.
See you guys on the flip side. Happy New Year 2021. Take care.
Mahalo, Tristyn and Kamohai. Thank you guys.
Mahalo.